maybe a bit more of a nuanced, interesting relationship than just it's starting positively and getting worse and worse.
It sounds like the Queen Mother was quite close to Charles. What was her relationship like with Diana, and was she instrumental sort of in that relationship as well?
This is what really surprised me, because I found out that, obviously some of your listeners and viewers will of course know, as royal fans or royal watchers, there's this really long-standing theory that it was the Queen Mother who promoted Diana as a potential bride for Charles. And I found out that from her teenage years, when she was a debutante, she was actually best friends with two of Diana's great aunts, the women who would go on to be one of her best friends was Lady Lavinia Spencer. So she'd known the Spencers since she was a child herself. All I can say, again, the Queen Mother liked to duck and weave. But what I will say is I found out that Diana really did not like that story and made a point of telling a friend the Queen Mother did not arrange it. She had nothing to do with it. Charles and I had a lot more say in it than people are giving us credit for. And this was when the marriage was breaking down. So she really didn't have a reason to be praising herself and Charles's decision, unless there was an element of truth in it. So she said, but the relationship started warmly. In fact, if you remember that fantastic black dress and the pearl and sapphire choker she wore when she danced with John Travolta at the White House, that was a gift from the Queen Mother. That was the Queen Mother's engagement gift to Diana. Diana actually first moved into the Queen Mother's house. Allegedly, the Queen Mother when she became engaged to Prince Charles, and the Queen Mother gave her a lot of advice on how to deal with the media. The problem was, I don't think it was coming from a bad place with the Queen Mother, but it was really out of date, because she was an established figure, the Queen Mother. She had married into the royal family in the 1920s. There was a lot more deference in the press that had kind of carried over for her. She was not giving practical advice for the age of mass media and zoom lenses. And so while I think she tried to give Diana good advice at the start, it was woefully out of date, really. So the relationship you see in some dramatizations where it was always very negative and quite cutting, that's not the case. They seemed to get on really well. Diana actually told a friend that she thought the Queen Mother felt sympathy for her and was fascinated by her. We do know that by about 1990, the relationship was really starting to break down. The Queen Mother allegedly referred to Diana as a liar, and Diana referred to the Queen Mother as the chief leper in the leper colony. So it ended up becoming quite a fraught relationship, to put it really politely. But it started positively.
Yeah, I mean, how did she feel about her at the time of her death, and did her opinions change of her after Diana died?
Interesting. I know that she did not think that there should be a memorial to Diana at Kensington Palace. The Queen Mother mildly opposed it. Princess Margaret vociferously opposed the memorial. Princess Margaret said some really cutting things I put in the book about people crying over Diana in the streets. Margaret was not sympathetic at all in the sort of cutting way that Princess Margaret could be. But both her and Margaret felt relieved that they had all been in Scotland when it happened, because it meant they could comfort William and Harry. And certainly there was a great deal of sympathy from them. Princess Margaret talked about, how sad it was that Prince Harry's birthday was going to be so soon after his mother's death. And she and the Queen Mother both felt that the priority needed to be William and Harry. So I don't think she ever really commented on Diana again after the death. I did hear stories, though. People said she got rid of all her photographs of Diana and didn't want to see any more. But I was able to find several eyewitness accounts that said that's not true. And they told me where the Diana photographs were kept after her death. So maybe a bit more of a nuanced, interesting relationship than just it's starting positively and getting worse and worse.
Interesting.
You mentioned that it was important to her to be supportive of William and Harry following Diana's death. What do you think she would have thought about Harry's recent life choices had she been around to see?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. It's been one, so I can say fairly confidently, because she actually was asked, I think around the time of Harry's christening, what advice she would give. And it was, and the answer was, put your country first. So I think in terms of just what the Queen Mother's attitudes were, she would not have approved of moving to live abroad. We've already seen that with Prince Charles. That's not to say the Queen Mother was right and Prince Harry was wrong, or vice versa. I think it's maybe a generational thing. I think, the Queen Mother had never experienced the full impact, as Prince Harry has, of full media intrusion. So I think maybe it was a little bit, he's obviously making his decision based off a more modern reality. She would be basing hers off the reality she lived through. But certainly, I think someone who'd gone through World War I and World War II in Britain, for her, you did not leave, and that was it. So, and one of her proudest moments for her husband was him refusing to leave Britain during the Nazi bombing raids. So for her, there was just a different way of viewing the world. So I can say fairly confidently I don't think she would have approved of any member of the royal family leaving Britain, not permanently, of course, but to live abroad. But that's not to say, as I said, that one was right and one was wrong.
Hey everyone, I'm Christina Garibaldi, the host of Us Weekly Celebrity Coverage. Don't forget to hit subscribe for the latest celebrity news, tips, and video. And for much more content, make sure you head on over to usmagazine.com, the official home of Us Weekly magazine.